Welcome to FSEA Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome back to another video. And it's been a while since I did another episode of this, and if you're new, what this is favorite song each album, where I go through a band or artist's discography and I name my favorite song. And as a bonus, I give an honorable mention, and the honorable mention could be either my second favorite song or a song I feel not many people talk about. And this is actually a pretty monumental episode because not only am I covering my first solo artist, but I'm covering my first female artist. And if you couldn't tell behind me, then you would know that the first female artist I'm covering is Kate Bush. And if you've been following the channel for a bit, then you might know that I've recently become obsessed over her music. I mean, I've known her music, but it was really this year where it really started to blow up, and now I consider Kate Bush one of my favorite artists of all time. So she's only released nine studio albums. I know there's one called Director's Cut, but that's mostly just reworking old songs from previous ones, which I'm not really going to be covering here, and I don't even own it, so I might get it, but regardless, I'm getting off track. So of course I'm going to be starting from her debut album, going to her most recent one. So this should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to this. So before I begin, make sure to leave a like on the video and comment below what's your favorite song on each of these albums. And last plug before I actually start, but live stream this Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's on my birthday, so if you want to join, please do so. If you can't, then that's also fine. But all right, that's enough. Let's go ahead and start. So I am going to try to go through this off the cuff, but I'm going to try my best here. But the thing is, it's a lot of these songs I'm going to be talking about. I mean, especially if you're talking about Kate Bush, it's actually pretty difficult to describe it because, again, if you were familiar with her music is known for being very odd, very out there, very experimental at times. So forgive me if I have a hard time finding the right word. And so what I did is that if you go to the description, I'll have a little Spotify playlist which will have all the songs that I will be mentioning here. So once you're done here, you can go ahead and just listen to the songs yourselves. I mean, please do, because I think you'll have a great time. So here we go. So of course we're starting with her first album, which is The Kicking Side, with this US cover, which is just not that good. Does not represent her at all. But anyway, so I also will admit that a lot of my choices aren't going to be too left field. There's going to be some songs that are going to be like duh. So my favorite song here is going to be Wuthering Heights, which is one of these songs that you first think of when you hear Kate Bush. I know this was pretty big for her. She was only 19 when this album came out, and Wuthering Heights was the first single, and it got really big. It went to #1 on the charts, which is pretty great, which is pretty crazy. And again, it's a weird song because throughout the whole song, she's just singing in this very high register, which again sounds odd, but there's something that kind of grabs you. It's like kind of pulls you in, you know. It's just got a great melody, and so yeah, that's gonna be my favorite song. Again, if you've not heard this one, check the playlist out. And for my honorable mention, this one's probably gonna be a song I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, and that song is called "Oh to Be in Love." And I love the chorus in the song. It's just a very catchy, very kind of almost like a very upbeat sound to it, and it's just a fun song. So go ahead and check those two out, but those are my two picks from The Kicking Side. Okay, so now we're moving on. This album came out the same year as her debut. We have Lionheart, also from 1978. All right, just want to show the back cover here. And kind of shows just how odd she was during this period. And pretty cool album cover, I must say. So again, this one's probably not going to be too shocker. This was one of the singles, and my favorite song is going to be "Wow." It starts out very like almost atmospheric. It kind of starts very slow, but then once it gets to the chorus, it just goes like bam. Wow. Wow. Anyhow, so yeah, it's a great song. Again, going back to the chorus, it's just has this very big sound to it, and again, it just pulls you in. It's just so captivating. Just love it. Okay, and for my honorable mention, I'm going to be going with the song that another song I feel not many people talk about, and that song is called Coffee Home Ground. You get it? It's a play on words of coffee ground. Anyhow, again, it's another song it's hard to describe. It's just this very quirky, that's really the best word I can describe. It's kind of this quirky, almost theatrical type of song, something you hear on a Broadway show, which is, again, it's kind of strange, but it's very cool. And I love her vocal delivery. It's kind of a little joyful. It's kind of playful, and it's very cool. So go ahead and check that song out too. All right, so now we go on to 1980 with her third album, Never Forever, with this pretty cool album cover as well. Okay, and some people might think I might choose the big single, which was Babushka, but I am not doing that. I'm actually going to cover, for my favorite song, it's going to be All We Ever Look For. And it's kind of a more slower song. There's no like big moment where the chorus just comes out of nowhere, but no, it just stays pretty calm throughout the whole song. And I really do like her slower songs. Again, you just hear her more ethereal vocals, if that's the right word. And I love the keyboards. There's some nice keyboard sounds throughout the whole song, and it's just a very pleasant song. And so for my honorable mention, now I believe this one was a single, and I'm going to be going with Army Dreamers. Again, another slower song, has somewhat of a Irish feel to it, because she was very heavily influenced by a lot of Irish stuff. And again, it's slow, but you hear that little Irish arrangement into it, which sounds really good. And so those are my two picks off of Never Forever. All right, now we get to the big ones. We have 1982, The Dreaming. This is probably her most out there album, shall we say. Definitely her most experimental. Don't really recommend this as your first listen, but I still love it. Favorite song? Again, this was another single. I'm going with Suspended in Gaffa. And the one thing I have not mentioned yet is Kate Bush's lyrics. What I love about her lyrics is that, again, it's just so unique. Like, the things she writes about is stuff that you're like, how did she come up with this? Because Suspended in Gaffa, for example, you're probably wondering what the heck that means. And it's actually supposed to be, the word Gaffa is supposed to be referring to gaffer tape or electrical tape, basically. And so when she says suspended in Gaffa, it's supposed to be a metaphor for being of that feeling when you're just stuck. You know, you're just stuck in life. So again, it's a very unique way of phrasing it, but it's really cool, and the song itself is also very cool. Again, it's so odd. There's a lot of strings. It has this big theatrical feel to it, and it's just absolutely incredible. I just love that song. And then for my album mention, I'm going with Night of the Swallow. Again, another one of her more slower songs, but again, just hearing her vocals just really sell the song. And again, it's one I go back to very often. So those are my picks there. And then we get to probably her biggest album, the one that was both critically and commercially successful, and that of course is 1985's Hounds of Love. Okay, I'm not going to be too shocking. Favorite song, Running Up That Hill. I mean, I know it's been playing a lot recently after it appeared on Stranger Things, but I never get tired of that song. I just love the very driving rhythm it has. I love her vocals. I love the vocals on here are perfect. And yeah, it's just an 80s classic, I think, and I'm really happy it's getting the resurgence that it's getting. So yeah, Running Up That Hill, favorite song. Honorable mention, another single off here. It's going to be Cloud Busting. This one has a lot of strings in here and a really cool melody to it. And it's all carried out by the strings. And again, there's big rhythm drum sounds to it. And again, very awesome. So those are my two picks off Hounds of Love. Then we get to The Sensual World, which came out in 1989. this is actually pretty tough naming a favorite song because I think it's pretty consistent throughout the whole song. There's no songs that really, I would say, stand out. Like, of course, there's some standout tracks, but I mean, like, the whole album has the same feel throughout. So I'd say this is one of her more consistent ones, I think. So favorite song is going to be This Woman's Work, which is the final song. Again, another slow ballad, but again, it really comes down to her vocals. Like, I know I've been saying her vocals a lot, but really her vocals are just absolutely incredible. She sells the song, and what's cool, she's actually singing in this perspective of a man, which is pretty cool, pretty interesting. And then honorable mention is going to be Love and Anger. Again, I don't have much else to say on that song, really. It's just a very nice, upbeat 80s song, 80s sounding song. So yeah, those are my two picks off the Essential World. And then there was a kind of a small gap, so we're jumping to 1993 with The Red Shoes. Favorite song? Top of the City. Again, not much to say on it. I just love the vocal delivery of it, especially how she says the name of the song. Again, I can't really describe it. Go check the playlist out. It's just, it's cool. It's great. It's cool. All right, and then for my honorable mention, here's a song I feel not many people talk about, and that song is called Why Should I Love You? And what's interesting about that song is that it's actually a collaboration with her and Prince. And if you hear the song, it really does feel like a Prince song. And I could see people not liking it because of it, but I think it works very well. I think it's funky. There's some R&B influence, which you never really picture Kate Bush doing, but it actually sounds very good. It's very catchy, so yeah, go check those two songs out. Almost done here, just 2 more albums to go. So now we're a big jump. She took a big break. So now we're in 2005 with Ariel. And this was a double album, and this of course came in 2 CDs. Let me just open it up so you see the inside. Pretty cool. Okay, so favorite song. I'm going to go with How to Be Invisible. Again, this has a cool rhythm to it, and that rhythm really drives the song. And it's like, I believe it's like 4 minutes, and it never really changes, it never really goes off that rhythm. But it's a cool rhythm. You just kind of just bob your head to it the whole time, and you just kind of ride it out. So that's my top pick. And then I'm going with Sunset as my honorable mention. Kind of a more slower ballad of hers, but what's interesting here is that it has a bit more of a jazz influence. So I like to say this period of Kate is kind of similar to what Joni Mitchell did. As she got older, the voice got lower, so she couldn't really hit those high notes anymore. So they kind of changed to more jazz approach. And Sunset is kind of where she's starting to put more of that influence in here. Which sounds pretty good. So those are my 2 picks there. And then finally, for her last album, we have 50 Words for Snow. Very interesting album cover. Okay, this is 2011, by the way, so another big break. So, favorite song. I'm going with Misty. And it's probably the longest song on here. It's over 13 minutes. But again, I'd like to say this is her full-on jazz album, because there's a lot of jazz influence here, a lot of jazz arrangements, and it's mainly just her on the piano a lot of the times. And Misty is no exception to that. Again, it's slow. Again, it's piano driven, but again, I'm into that stuff. I can see people not being into it too much, but I like it. So Misty's my favorite song. And then for my honorable mention, I have Snowed In at Wheeler Street. And what's notable about that song is that it's actually a duet with her and Elton John. And that alone is why that's my honorable mention, because they actually do pretty well together, I must say. And there you have it. Those are all my favorite songs on each Kate Bush album. So again, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite song are on each album. And of course, give it a like and check out the Spotify playlist when you get a chance. And it'll give you a nice little taste on why I love Kate Bush a lot. I do plan to do more. I have a ranking video on the way, but that's taking me longer because I'm actually recording quite a bit of stuff for that video. So look forward to that sometime in the near future. And that's all I gotta say. Make sure check out my live stream this Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and goodbye for now.